Everybody. Stella, I just wanted to make one point in response. I can't remember who touched on this earlier, but the average Aboriginal person today looks more like Jessa or Josh than they do like Noel Pearson or someone like that. The average Aboriginal person today is young. They're probably relatively fair-skinned, excuse me if that's an offensive way of describing it to both of you. And they probably don't speak the language, and they probably weren't brought up on the country of their ancestors, because that's the story of Australia and the story of Aboriginal Australia. Anyway, my question was, my name's Ariti and I'm a Māori and a Cook Islander, and I'm also Jess's husband, so I've got two... it's a topic of passion to me, because you should see our two boys. One of them's a blonde-headed Aboriginal, and yet still is feisty, fighting for his people's rights as his mum. But my question is, there's this growing movement in Australia for Australia to become a republic. Certainly it is in the social media space that I keep seeing tweets and messages and invitations to things. What's your view about that, particularly to our Aboriginal panel members, but also to our senior strong allies of Aboriginal people on the panel? And wouldn't it be great if the first non-representative Queen of England was an Aboriginal person?
Dorothy Dickson.
I'm not from a politics background. That's why I always sort of dodge these questions. I'm an educator and an artist, so any of these questions I come from opinion rather than fact most of the time. But I've always felt very strange in a country that has a picture of a British person on the back of a coin, and then growing up knowing more about what that meant, because as a child I didn't know. I just knew that we had a queen that lived somewhere else and I didn't understand. I also didn't have a great education as a young child. I was sort of moved around a lot, and we were homeschooled, if that's a thing, when your mum barely finished year 10. So I missed a fair bit, and I didn't also understand what colonisation was until I was an older sort of, I guess, student. So once I did understand all those things, I am a bit more, I guess, passionate about us having our independence. But I would like to see what that means for Indigenous people, and I, as you know, I'm a treaty supporter. So for me, treaty comes before being a republic, because I see the power of a treaty in negotiations across in New Zealand and in Canada. There's something that you can fight with, and there's something that you can hold people accountable with. Without a treaty, it's just the government doing what they want. So
I'm with you, Jess. I'm with Jess on that one. You know, we do need a treaty, and we need to be able to hold governments accountable.
Can I just say something? The history, a lot of the change in Australia, even up to a point, the 67 referendum, is that before a proposal gets to the point where it goes to a referendum or whatnot, it's been watered down to the point where people can say, look, it's just feel good, really. It's not going to create any legal rights or make any change. Now, I believe in the overwhelming vote in 1967 was an affirmation by the Australian people that they wanted something done about it, Aboriginal affairs. But the proponents who basically said, look, it's harmless and just feel good, were also right. It created no legal rights for Aboriginals. I'm afraid that a lot of other social changes that people talk about, I'm not talking treaty, because the government is not talking treaty, but I am talking things like constitutional referendum, has been made so harmless that anybody could vote for it without it empowering or doing anything whatever for Aboriginal people. Likewise, if you remember the referendum we had about a republic, it was so watered down, it really meant we'll cross out the word Governor-General and substitute the name President, but it changed nothing about Australia. And that's what I fear. I'm a Republican. I want a new, different and inclusive Australia. But if we go about it the way that we so often go about change in Australia, it won't make a bloody jot of difference to anybody.